Stop! Stop! Okay. I'm about to show you guys what should have happened. What should have happened. Should have happened to the Ion. Okay? This is what should have happened to the Ion. Roast me now. Thank the Lord Chris Roberts for what I'm about to do. I'm about to show the world how wrong CIG's balance team was when they came to the Ion. I do believe that the Ion deserves to get nerfed. However, not in the way they nerfed it. Here's how I would do it. So, you know, this one's for Yogi. This one's for Yogi. Okay, so right now we have the Ion. It looks something like this. It's got the two big engines on the back. It's got the thing, and then it's got the giant penis-shaped object that pops out from the side, and then it's got the tiny little cockpit. Okay, so the problem with the Ion, and the problem that it's always been, the nice pulsing main vein of the gun, is they have made the little pew-pews, they've made them 700 meters per second. Bruh. This makes the big gun very droopy. Okay? This makes the big gun very droopy. Nobody wants to play with the big gun. But I want to play with my big gun. But I want the big gun to feel good. So let's ask a question. Let's ask a real question. Just a simple question. What felt good about the Ion before the nerf? Overwhelmingly, people said, I like the Ion because it has a lot of damage in one shot. So, how do we make a gun that kills in one shot, not crazy overpowered versus fighters, and it starts to take a ship that's designed to kill capital ships into the zone where it's effectively engaging hordes and hordes of big dick arrows, okay? Because if you fly an arrow, you have a massive object in your pants, okay? Everyone who flies an arrow has a big D. And it pew kills this guy, pew kills this guy, pew kills this guy. So let's ask, why was the Ion overpowered? Well, it's because this big phallic object was able to close distance to a light fighter 1/5 its size. Okay? So let's do the right thing here. Let's not make the big giant weapon really dumb, because then not only do people who bought the Ion feel cheated, because that's not good for PR, CIG. We don't care about PR, CIG 2022. We care about making spaceships that don't work. Well, let's fix this PR problem that you guys have. Let's do it real simple, right? Let's take this giant ship, okay? And let's make its jerk profile low enough so that when there's a target here and they want to articulate onto that target, okay? You know, let's say it's a 10-degree angle change, right? What happens is, as soon as they get close to the target, and that target decides, nope, I'm going to go this way, and he starts going that way, that by the time he gets close to that target, he's now going to overshoot that target, because the amount of time and energy it takes for the arrow, for the aim on this, like, oh, it's like slow. Like we've all flown the Constellation. We all know what self-harm is like. So if you fly the Connie, you know that it's just kind of wants to go over here and over here. Well, guess what? You can't have the best of both worlds, guys. All right? So if you're going to have a giant weapon on this thing that hits like an absolute freight train, first of all, the amount of alpha damage that this weapon should have was like, what, 7,000 before the nerf? Yeah, it was like 7,000 before the nerf. 10-10 drawings, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. I think that should be this. Now hold the phone, guys. Take a deep breath Everyone take a deep breath, relax. I'm not saying that the arrow, the ion should become this massive, you know, it's 17K is even too low. Hear me out, right? So what is the ship designed to do? The ship is designed to kill big things. Well, how is something as large as the big dick ion going to be able to engage the Chad Idris? Okay, here's the Chad Idris. There's the big engines on it. There's the giant railgun. You know, there's the bridge. Okay, there's the back of it. It looks something like this. You know, there's all the cool people sitting inside the command center because they spent way too much money and they could have had a down payment on a house, but we don't talk about that. So what happens now, right? Well, if I was to fly very close to the sun, i.e. if I was to fly very close to an Idris, I would be inside its danger zone. Okay? I need my boy Kenny Loggins. So if I was gonna fly too close to this thing in a giant fucking ion like we have currently, now the NPC Idrises are right, so not too cool. But when a player Idris is around, if you think for a second that this thing is going to survive inside the danger zone, because with the low velocity of projectiles that we currently have, you have no choice but to get within a certain range of someone to actually start applying damage. So this leads me to my point where I say, okay, it's not just the weapon that the ship has to be balanced around, it's the whole package. Because right now we have a slow package with slow velocity that is going to go into an engagement area like against an Idris, and it's going to get fucking murdered, okay? So here's what we do. Yes, we'll sell these as NFTs, don't worry. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a ship that has a very high weight to its movement on its guns, so getting a track on somebody is very difficult. So if there's an arrow that does any kind of movement towards you, you're not going to hit them, okay? Let's drop its acceleration a little bit, but let's give it really high speed. Let's drop its acceleration instead of having, I don't know what it's at, fucking 12 G's of like 12 fucking G's of massive boner acceleration. Like that's too much for a ship like this. Okay, let's get that around 10. Okay, 10 G's. Let's get our top speed very high so that it has the ability to disengage gangs of light fighters. Okay, so when it's being chased by a bunch of light fighters, okay, if the light fighter is topping out at, let's say, 1250, okay, the ion is topping out at 1300. Okay, just, you know, so that it has some sustainability. Okay, now we're gonna get our velocity on our big D cannon here. We're gonna make that 1200. Okay, now why are we gonna make that 1200? Well, because if you're gonna hit anything, and I mean if you're gonna hit anything, it has to have decent velocity. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna, let's say there's a you know, because again, guys, the ship is literally designed to shoot big stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our big dig Idris here again. You know, there's our big dig Idris. There's the other nacelles. There's the big railgun, and then there's the command deck. Kinda, right? There's our Idris. Okay. And we're not gonna go inside this engagement zone for very long, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna swoop in. We're gonna go bang, 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 17,000, and then we're gonna scoot away. We're gonna fly away, because if we stay inside this engagement zone, we're gonna have all these PDCs shooting at us. We're gonna have all these railguns. We're gonna have all this fucking stuff shooting at us. Like, we don't want to stick around for too long, okay? Especially against a player Idris. If it's manned properly, it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna hit and fade, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get lots of speed. We're gonna get our angle set. We're gonna dive in. We're gonna go bang, bang, bang. And then we're gonna swoop out. And we're gonna come around for another pass. We're gonna go all the way around here at 5,000 meters. And we're gonna come back in. Bang, bang, bang. And then we're gonna swoop away again. And we're gonna take dive bomb runs against this Idris, because that's what you would do in a large vessel, because not only is that going to make the Ion an actual ship good at hunting big things, not only is it going to give you a weapon that's going to feel cool, because it's going to, when it hits something, it's going to be like big dopamine rush, like, I killed a spaceship. It's going to feel great, but it's also going to give the Ion a role that makes sense. See, what they did with the Ion was they didn't solve any of the Ion's problems. They just cut the dick right off it. They said like, nope, you can't have that big gun, but we're going to keep all the other stuff about your ship the same. And when the desync gets better and the velocity starts going up, guess what, guys? The Ion will once again become overpowered because they hadn't fixed any of the problems with the ship. The ship is basically the same. So what they did was they said, holy shit, this thing is performing way too high. Let's do something to it right now because it's basically snuffing everything out. It's the only viable ship. It was killing arrows, it was killing Gladius, it was killing basically everything with a pulse because, you know, that's just the way the ship is. With that gun and how maneuverable the ship was with its translational, it could negotiate during a fight to the point where all it needed was one shot. Right? And that's why I made the ion.exe video, because it was hilarious how disgustingly broke this thing was. So, if they do these things, okay, and they start dialing this ship in to make it a little more, I guess you could say, make more sense, and they give the Ion its main, it's a size 7 cannon. Like, I'm sorry, but the Glaive has higher alpha than the fucking size 7 cannon. Like, what world are we living in? I feel like we're living in the upside down world in fucking Stranger Things. It doesn't make any sense. You know, like, this would solve the problem of Ion owners would actually enjoy their ship they paid $250 for. The gun would have a purpose in the game. The velocity would be good enough to actually apply damage. And if they nerf the rotational rates and the jerk profile so that it becomes really difficult to like actually stay and get on target, you'd be forced to fly strafing runs. And with the high speed, you'd be able to have a little bit of sustainability, because any arrow gang that's going to be engaging you, like if your top speed is 1300 and the arrows is 1250, that arrow is going to be on you for quite a while before you eventually get out of range. So it's not like you're going to be able to just get out scot-free. And if you're good enough in the Ion to dive in, bang, 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 dive out, and keep yourself safe, like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious to me that this is what they should be doing. But instead, all they did was they cut the firing rate and they took away the alpha on the cannon, and then it's just like, there's nothing unique about the way the ship feels. Like, the ship has to feel unique. It has to feel like when I fly the Ion, it's not like I'm just flying an arrow with slightly less maneuverability, because that's what the Ion used to feel like, you know? And now it's like, it's just horrible to fly the Ion. It's so annoying. Like, it's not enjoyable to fly the Ion right now, right? So that's what I think. That's what I think about the Ion. That's what I hope they would have done. So, you know, anyway, there's my rant for the day, guys.